Throughout the course, we'll see how the various strategies and skills play out in the real world by looking at case study examples from a trio of new financial advisors just starting out in their careers. Take a moment to click on each of their profiles to find out a little about each FA's background and why they're here.
Hi there, I'm Kira, based out of Athens, Georgia.
Hey, I'm Anthony. I live in Seattle.
Greg here from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
All right, but how many weeks or months should this whole process take? I mean, if they're not convinced after the delivery, what's it gonna take for them to change their mind?
Well, that really depends on the individual.
Okay, well, I've been talking to this restaurateur, Phil, who owns this chain of gourmet pizzerias that I go to all the time. I usually talk to him when I'm there, and of course, I mention that I'm an FA. He happened to be looking for a financial advisor, so we had one meeting, then another meeting, just like you were talking about. At the end of the first meeting, I thought we were totally hitting it off. But by the end of the second meeting, he's like, let me think it over. Let me think it over. After 2 meetings, that's basically a no, right?
Well, let's ask the group. What do you think Anthony should do?
In a work context, how would you guess teams of diverse people perform, compared to teams where everyone is from a similar background? Thanks. Now let's take a look at what research shows. This graph is from a study by the UCLA Management School, comparing how diverse teams perform versus teams from the same cultural background. The study found that single culture groups tended to score in the middle for effectiveness, while diverse teams either scored very high or very low. Why might that be? Well, it's hardly news that people tend to feel more comfortable when they are surrounded by others from their same cultural background. Let's see the scenario play out with Ron showing a little more curiosity.
Any thoughts on the theme? Completely open to ideas here.
The theme is great, but the slogan could be better.
Yeah, I was having a little trouble with that.
How about run with the pack?
Wow, that's good. And might make a good hashtag too.
People in skilled trades like electricians, plumbers, carpenters, and sheet metal workers have to figure out complex technical challenges and get a building's essential systems in place. While it's true that general, unskilled construction laborers make slightly less than the median wage, skilled workers in trades like plumbing and electrical work make significantly more. Now let's explore what different construction careers look like day to day.
Participation has been defined as the right of all children and young people to be involved and influential in decision-making about issues which affect their lives and those of their communities, in accordance with their evolving capacity. Before we conclude this introduction, let's define a few key terms that we'll be using throughout the series.
Let's take a quick quiz to see how well you understand the difference between goals that describe activities and goals that describe the desired results.
The panel should select 2 or 3 questions from each dimension to ask candidates. In order to create a level playing field and ensure that candidates are scored fairly, the exact same questions must be asked of every candidate participating in a round of interviews.
As we'll see in our second story about Rosa, a seamstress living an ocean away from Victoria in Guatemala. If women were to participate in the economy identically to men, They could add as much as 28 trillion, or 26% to the annual GDP in 2025. This is roughly the combined size of the economies of the United States and China today.